Hi, I'm Henry Grady Harrison.
And I'm Hunter Garrett Horby, and we're HGH.
So, I don't know about you as an audience, but personally, as a child, I tried playing Minesweeper on my Windows computer, and it turned out to be incredibly challenging because the game revolved around clicking on a tile and using your sense of intuition, figuring out where exactly a potential bomb could be. And we thought we would simplify this process by implementing a hack to completely lighten the load.
Our first hack was to reveal the bombs at the start of the game. We did this by placing flags on the tiles that had the bombs underneath them. This allowed the player to simply avoid clicking on those bombs and clicking on clear tiles to beat the game. Unfortunately, some players decided to unflag the bombs and click on those, so we allowed them one free explosion. When the player unflags a bomb and clicks on that tile, we will move that bomb to another location and disable them from clicking on that spot as well. They will then be able to continue the game unharmed. To implement these hacks, we used two different programs, OllyDebug and IDA Pro. While both were disassemblers that allowed us to view the assembly language code of the executable, they allowed different strengths. IDA Pro allowed us to see flowcharts of the code to better understand how the program worked and allowed us to search through the code to better find what we were looking for. OllyDebug, however, enabled us to change the code, view a hexadecimal dump of memory, and use breakpoints to better find code that was being changed when we played the game. Now Hank will talk about our specific design of the hacks.
So I'll be talking about why we chose to implement our own design of the hack as opposed to another array of possibilities that we could have chosen from. So we chose our implementation of the hack as opposed to, say, code injection, for example, despite considering it for various number of reasons. So the first one being that while merely modifying different values throughout the executable, instead of just injecting separate code that we've written by ourselves, we would guarantee that the file size would remain the same as the one that was provided to us. So ultimately, the file that would be generated from our hacked implementation would be the same exact size as the one that was supplied to us. In addition, the exe would not grow or decrease in size, but it would also maintain the same speed, in that memory itself isn't that changed. So the executable would not speed up or slow down, and this just guarantees just all across the board that we're once again sticking up to that standard of utmost efficiency, which is our goal as a group. And finally, the lack of changes in memory, granting us just a constant amount of speed, would ultimately branch into the design's malleability. So the cheat scales with the difficulty of the game. So should the user decide to bump up the difficulty from normal to a more advanced state of the game, or even his own custom difficulty, the cheat will itself just scale once again. So the number of flags would just get bumped up depending on the standard that is set for that specified difficulty.
As you can see at the start of our game, all the mine locations have been flagged. At the start of every new game, you'll see the flags jump to their new locations to show the bomb locations to the player. The player simply needs to click on the free spaces to play the game. If the player clicks on a flagged location as their first move, this is what we count as the free explosion. The bomb will be moved and the player can play as normal. The new bomb location is now in the top left corner of the grid and will not be able to be clicked. At the completion of the game, the flag will be revealed.
In addition to simply normal difficulty, the user will find upon clicking the Game tab that 4 total difficulties are available to them: Intermediate, Expert, and Custom. As such, the cheat scales with different difficulties. So should the user get bored out of Easy mode, he could bump it up a notch to Intermediate or even Expert. As you can see, the flags do still reset and mark the mines upon hitting the new game button, and the game can still be played accordingly, which ultimately validates its malleability.